I've seen the full spectrum. Some make you feel like you're a true partner in the story. Some are rushed, overwhelmed, and just trying to get through their day. And others, well, let's just say that they expect you to do unpaid labor and write their stories for them. Today, I'm breaking down the good, the bad, and the ugly. How to spot each one early, what you can say to protect your time, your energy, and your expertise, and how to deal with those situations. Well, hey there. Welcome to Media Savvy, the podcast that gives you a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to get noticed by media and become the go-to expert that they keep coming back to. I'll be sitting down with successful writers, producers, and entrepreneurs to learn the tools and tactics they use to build their reputation and in turn boost their business. I'm your host, Taub-Dix, and I've been working with top-tier media outlets for more than 30 years, anywhere from traditional print publications to online and social platforms. And I'm sharing my nutrition guidance without gimmicks. But you don't have to be a dietitian for this podcast to speak to you. Through my one-to-one conversations, you'll learn how to build a strategy to get your name in the news and establish yourself as an authority in your field, no matter what the industry. With Media Savvy, I'm on a mission to inspire, motivate, and empower you to have the confidence and tools you need to shine in the spotlight. Are you ready? Let's get Media Savvy. Well, hey there. Welcome back to the Media Savvy podcast. I'm your host, Taub-Dix. And today we're talking about something that no one really prepares you for when you start working with media. It's not about how to get quoted, not about what to wear on TV, but how to tell who you're actually working with on the other end of that email or that phone call. Because not all reporters are the same. Over my career, I've worked with thousands of journalists. I'm not exaggerating. And I've seen the full spectrum. Some make you feel like you're a true partner in the story. Some are rushed, overwhelmed, and just trying to get through their day. And others, well, let's just say that they expect you to do unpaid labor and write their stories for them. Today, I'm breaking down the good, the bad, and the ugly, the reporter version. How to spot each one early, what you can say to protect your time, your energy, and your expertise, and how to deal with those situations. So first, let's take a look at the good reporters. These reporters come prepared. They respect your expertise. They ask thoughtful questions. They follow up with clarity. They credit you properly. And often they come back again and again and again. You could just feel it right away. They say things like, I really value your perspective, or let me know if I'm representing this accurately. They check. They say, is there anything important you'd like readers that, they should know or understand? These are collaborators. They're not just reporters. And how can you spot them early on? Well, their email is specific, not generic. They reference your work. They give you context, audience, and deadline. They ask, not demand. They'll send you their questions ahead of time. That is super important. I never want to be surprised. I always ask for questions ahead of time if I don't get them. And if you get the pleasure of talking to them on the phone, and some of them will be happy to engage in conversation and not just get right into the interview. In fact, there are several journalists that I schedule calls with just to schmooze, even when they don't have a story for me. Or we might go out for a drink if they're lucky enough to live in the same city. I have actually interviewed a few of my favorite journalists right here on the Media Savvy podcast because the mutual respect is obvious and I value their work as much as they do mine. So how do you nurture these relationships? Be responsive. Don't wait for their deadlines. Beat them. Offer clarity, not overwhelm. Answer their questions in sound bites that sell their story. Something that they could just literally copy and paste and put into their stories. Ask how else you could help them and say thank you genuinely. These are the reporters who help you build your reputation quietly and consistently. Well, now let's talk about the bad. not awful, but the bad reporters. These reporters are not bad people. They're often overwhelmed, overworked, underpaid, juggling multiple stories and racing deadlines. They might ask rushed questions or sound distracted. They may give vague direction about what they're looking for. They may ask for quotes that feel just surface levels. This doesn't mean they don't value you. It usually means they're stretched thin. So how could you handle them smartly without compromising yourself? Ask clarifying questions. Offer concise, usable sound bites. Don't over-explain. Set boundaries around the amount of time you'll spend on their story. Helpful phrases you could use might be, "What's most helpful for you here?" Or, "How much detail would you like?" "What angle are you leaning towards?" "Are you interviewing other RDs? Can I just choose a few of these questions?" Think of this as professional efficiency, not emotional investment. And then there's the ugly reporters. These are the ones who ask you to write paragraphs instead of quotes. They request research with citations. They want meal plans, scripts, or content ideas. They might send you a giant list of questions, and you know that they won't use your quotes for all of them. They just want you to answer all of them. They might disappear after you deliver everything or frame it as great exposure for you. And this is where frustration lives. So some red flags to watch out for might include if they send you a request, but there's no outlet name up front. They might be just including your quote for a pitch that they're using instead of for an actual story. And that doesn't mean that they actually would use you if they did get the story to write. This might be more evident if you don't see a clear deadline or a scope. So what could you say instead? "I'm happy to provide expert quotes, but I'm unable to write full sections." That's one thing. Another thing might be, "That sounds more like consulting work, and I'd be happy to discuss that separately." Or, "I could share high-level insights, but not original content without a contract." Let me tell you a story about what once happened to me. A reporter who I happen to like, she was one of the good ones, asked me to do a meal plan for a Halloween story for Family Circle. I told her it was too much to ask and that I should actually share the byline with her. I didn't ask for money at that time. Yes, it was a long time ago. I learned since then. But I just wanted more clout, more than just being quoted. And as it turns out, not only did she share the byline with me, but my photo wound up in the front of the magazine in the section that introduces stories. That was a win, even though it was a lot of work. This isn't being difficult, by the way. It's being professional. So here's the bottom line. Your job is not to please every reporter. Your job is to show up wisely and consistently and professionally. When you learn to tell the difference between the good, the rushed, and the inappropriate, media becomes energizing instead of draining. Sometimes saying no doesn't close doors. It actually shows people how to work with you. When you know how to spot the difference between the good, the rushed, and the ones who cross the line, media stops feeling frustrating and starts feeling strategic. So next up, we're talking about how to elevate your media skills from good to great. And yes, that's something you could build with practice. If you're ready to start building those skills intentionally, I could walk you through exactly how to do that inside my media training course that's called How to Work with Media and Make Media Work for You. You'll find a link to the course in the show notes. And you could also follow along my Instagram at BTD Media for tips about how you could start working with media right away. And by the way, I really want to thank you for stopping by here today, and you are looking mighty media savvy. So until the next time, bye.